Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
She's like, that's all back kibble.
Hello, welcome to TFYLP episode 397. We're live September 7th, Labor Day. But we decided to put together a crew, even though school starts tomorrow, for at least for some of us.
So, at the beginning there, Lucas, was that your impression of Christopher Walken? Hello, welcome to TFYLP school. It starts tomorrow. Yes.
No, not especially. So. We've got Rick on tonight, so
yeah,
I'm sure everyone is really excited.
Wait, what does that mean? My wife's just happy I'm out of the bedroom.
Christopher Ricken.
0 out of 10.
I'm Lucas. We've got Paul here as well.
You know, we're getting dangerously close to episode 400.
I know.
People are going to expect, like, something.
I know.
Geez.
We're going to have to bring back Duran or something.
I hope they expect a normal episode.
You know, we should
Right.
actually get Buckingham on the show. And then not
Not
have
talk.
time. Yeah.
Let's get Floro Deary.
Now what we'll do is we'll make some announcements, but then like have technical difficulties and not actually be able to do it.
Master stroke.
Like we were gonna get Peter Cullen on here, but his Skype crapped out. So sorry, it just didn't work out. So, but yeah, so we are looking forward to like underperforming expectations on episode 400 here in a few weeks. So,
What episode is this?
this is 397. So,
Oh my god!
it's crazy. We also have Rob, by the way.
Oh.
So.
Hi.
So,
Woo.
yeah. So the episode today is our least favorite Transformers, which was proposed. The idea was proposed by Rick, and honestly, I kind of feel like he's treading on thin ice here because I'm just curious if you just wanted to see how many figures that he worked on that we're gonna pick as our.
Well, this was my idea. I wrote down 30 different toy lines for Transformers, and I put it in the randomizer. And I just thought, hey, let's pick one, and then we'll do a quick round. What's the crappiest thing about that particular line to you? Lucas wants to, kind of shit in my cereal, but
I mean, it depends on how you want
like
to do it,
that.
and I feel like that there's certain series where you're like, I'm having a hard time picking, and there's other ones like anything that Rick worked on, where you'd have you're like, how do I pick?
Oh, I can pick. And there's a story behind each and every one of them.
I was gonna say, I really want. I actually do probably have a few that you may have worked on or whatnot. So I was gonna throw those out there. Maybe you can kind of talk about some
Out
of
of
that.
spite or genuine curiosity?
Defend your honor, Rick.
I would say you have to give at least, like, a good sentence or so of why you don't like this thing. You can't just say it sucks.
I mean,
we're not-
except for KISS players. We can just say, all right, listen, just go look at that on your own. Let's move on.
I'll defend.
Can we say it really sucks? Because that's totally better, right?
it super sucks?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a devastating critique. I want to save that one.
Yeah.
So I guess should I just start off like Myself? Or what? How did we want to do this?
I think Rick really wants to pick a line with his randomizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I want to hear what Lucas has to say first. I want to see what character he researched specifically to spite me, and then we can pick a line at random.
No, I actually don't even have like one specific figure. It's like a whole line of figures.
Of course.
The one step movie figures are just, God, they're hot garbage. Like, they made me so mad when I had my kids. So,
what line? From what film?
From AOE.
Not my jam. Not my thing, man. Pick again.
Okay. Well, there you go. But so the thing that really annoyed me is like, so my kids around that time were graduating up from the Rescue Bots toys, and the Rescue Bots toys are absolutely fantastic. They're bricks, but they're like fun to play with. They're fun to flip back and forth and all that. Like, they're perfect for that age group. So then, like, AOE's coming out, Age of Extinction, and like, so I'm like, oh, they've got these one-step figures. Like, this will be perfect for my kids. Like, I'll get that, right? Well, like, I don't even know how they came up with these things, because the wheels pop off on, like, all of these things, right? Which is, like, I don't know what the age range is. Like, I've thrown away the packaging at this point. But, like, the wheels come off, and, like, that has to be a choking hazard, I would think. And, like, half the time you break whatever mechanism is in there. Like, they're just not built to, for play with little kids. And so, like, that's the thing that annoyed me so much about all of them, is I bought a bunch of them and my kids broke all of them, and it was just really frustrating.
That sucks.
Sorry, I thought, Rick, you were gonna say something about it. No?
What? I don't know.
I mean, when you're talking about like the worst Transformers, each line has its own kind of goals with it. And I mean, for what's worth, those sound terrible. I never bought one. Why would I buy any of those? But like, I think Cyberverse sucks. But Cyberverse is not doing something I'm interested in. For the most part anyway. So it doesn't really count. Each line has a goal. One Step Changers has a goal. And
not even Rack and Ruin?
No.
It didn't do it for you?
Nah.
So that also is on my list here, is Cyberverse Wave 1 specifically. Like this, so this specific toy, Bumblebee, that I bought for my kid, they can't transform. It has stress marks all over it and whatnot. Like, the main goal that I want to have, like, when I'm buying my kids toys, is that they're not going to break. And I don't feel like my kids are that hard on toys. But for whatever reason, like, these things are junk. Now, I think that the later Cyberverse stuff, like, I thought they got a lot better. Like, the stuff they're releasing now, I think is actually really good. Like you said, Rick, Rack and Ruin, I think, is a really good figure. And a bunch of those ones, they did a couple bigger one-steps that I bought my kids, like a Starscream, there's like a little activator thing and whatnot, and those are really fun. Yes.
So, I can speak to Wave 1 in general. Wave 1 of any toy line. Think about Wave 1 Beast Wars, Wave 1 Beast Machines, Wave 1 Cyberverse, Wave 1 movie toys, and how different each figure in Wave 1 and some in Wave 2 are from what comes at the tail end of the line. So at the beginning of each line, you're introducing a new gimmick. And sometimes that gimmick isn't fleshed out all the way until halfway through the line. Because deadlines, you're so far behind. Usually when you start on a movie toy line, you're already like a year behind schedule. Right on day one. So usually the line doesn't come into maturity until halfway through, heading towards the end of the line. And I think the best overall example of that is Beast Machines. You look at the first couple of Beast Machines figures, look at that Beast Machines Tankor, Beast Machines Thrust, Optimus Primal, Black Arachnia, and then you look at the figures that came at the very end of that line: Rat Trap, Tank Drone, the Cycle Drone. You kind of see how that line has evolved over its lifespan, and Rescue Bots has gone down that road, and Cyberverse went down that road.
Would you say maybe that's part of the benefit of doing the trilogy style that they've been releasing now, is instead of...
That's just a marketing ploy.
Well,
Because
I guess what I'm saying is
each part has its own unique feature to it.
But they get to kind of... They're not reinventing the wheel every year. They're able to kind of stay in a specific sandbox and improve upon the items as the years go by.
Right. So the focus is that they're Transformers. That's what it is. There's no extra gimmick. It's a Transformer. That's what it is. That's what we had in G1. That's what we had in Chug. That's what
I think several of the latest lines of Generations definitely had gimmicks. I mean, Combiner Wars, it was a Combiner gimmick.
Well, that was a whole line.
Gimmicks. Yeah.
Right. But that was a whole line, and no matter who went into that line, you were a headmaster. Galvatron, Starscream, Optimus, Megatron, they were all part of that gimmick.
Right. And they didn't even bother, like, with the Titans Return, like, Headmaster thing. Did they even write that into the comic? Because, like, the Combiner Wars, they did, which I actually thought it was kind of neat. And they had the Enigma combination, all that kind of thing. So at least that was, like, there was fiction with it. But I can't remember if they actually touched on that in the comics.
No, they did not. But, yeah, the Combiner War stuff did. And I think it's because they had that really bad Machina TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of forget about that thing.
We try to.
Yeah.
Can we say that's just the worst thing of Transformers and call it a night?
I don't think there's worse. There's a lot worse.
Well,
It's not good,
what they want
but
to
there's
do,
worse.
they want to set the bar so low that way everything that comes after it's not going to be as bad. So like the new Netflix Transformers show, you're like, it's okay, and you're like,
It
but
had
at
nowhere
least
to
it's
go
better than
right
that
up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the reset. They set down to 0, and now everything can just get better.
Right.
Paul, you're a man who dislikes most things.
I am. Well, I'm going to follow Lucas and tell you a toy that I really, really don't like that everyone thinks is awesome because they're looking at it through rose-colored goggles. It's fucking Lio Big Balls Convoy. This thing, like, I don't even know how to hold it because it's going to... It's just, if I look at it wrong, the panel's going to fall off, hit me in the eye. Like, this thing... Look at it from the side. No one would accept this. No one would accept this today. It would be a huge flame war on the internet, and everyone would be like, "Ruined forever."
Yeah, but think about when that toy originally came out, though.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I don't
That
want
was
to.
that was peak Beast Wars technology at that point.
Yeah, I know. Even I thought it looked cool. Like, I was like, "Wow, that really looks like an amazing Transformer." And they made all those reissues of it in the past 18 months. And I had to again and again remember how much I hate this thing because it's a gangly mess. And the feet are like on these extended ball joints that don't have an actual level to stand on. Like, I'm holding it up right now. Oh my God, it stayed. It's a miracle.
I mean,
a Christmas miracle.
I mean,
I don't like it. It looks cool from the front. Great. Lots of toys look good from the front.
I mean,
and that's where you're supposed to look at them. I understand. But, like, I just don't enjoy manipulating that thing. I hate it worse than, like, another very well-known angry toy, which is, like, the Alternator's Mustang. It's a very difficult transformation. I prefer that all day over this thing. I still don't know how to put it into mammoth mode. I don't think I've ever done it.
Why was it reissued so many times? Like, that's what I want to know. Is like it's so. I mean, obviously it's a main character, but yeah.
So
I mean, my guess would be,
and the Galvatron mold from Beast Wars 2 were lost. So we tried to use the Galvatron mold in the first BotCon from Fun Pub in 2005 as Thunderwing, and unfortunately that mold just was misplaced and they never found it.
Means it's there somewhere, but good luck.
Some sex toy manufacturer found it and was like, "Hey, we could make something out of this." I think they reissued that one, Big Convoy, the Mammoth, because they probably weren't going to do a masterpiece, and they wanted something to go along with, Lyle Convoy and Beast Convoy that they released in Masterpiece. That's a very out there guess, but it'd be cool. Like, I would, if anyone needs the Masterpiece
that's not a bad
treatment,
theory.
it's this one. It's that one. That one needs it.
I don't hate it as much as you, but I mean, it's definitely not super great.
It's hard to pose, but I'm excited that I still think it's a cool figure.
It's just it looks good on the shelf.
Yeah,
he has a cool look, and I think at its time that it came out, that was really impressive. That it looked so cool on the shelf, and I think that's really what it boils down to. I would rather play with that mold than the Alternator or Mustang, personally. But it's not like either one are winning any awards.
Well, I actually think the Alternator Mustang is a great figure. I think that's a really good one. Like, from a posability standpoint, transforming it was hard the first time, but after you did it once, it's like, hey, this is cool.
I still can't transform that thing.
Just one torso part.
Have you tried recently? Because I'm curious, like, nowadays, now that we're used to Masterpiece and whatnot and third-party Transformers, if it would, if it's not as bad.
It's been like 7-8 years since I messed with it, something like that. And even then, I still couldn't get it. Just, you know how, like, the first time you learn something, it sticks in your brain that way, and you can't ever unlearn it, even if it was the wrong way? The first time I messed with that toy, I did something wrong. And since then, every time I go back to it, I can't. And after like 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, the arms do this. And now it'll snap together in car mode. And that hits me every time.
The thing that drives me nuts about this toy is I swear that there's no consistency in what happens to it. And like I said, I've messed with 3 different versions of it recently. And, as a Mammoth, it's like a fragile, piece of candy that you're trying to give to someone. And if you, like, put pressure in the wrong place, the whole thing explodes into pieces, and all the goop falls all over your hands. That's what I feel like the Mammoth is. So,
Beast Wars 2nd and Neo were both heavy panel formers. Like, that was, they're like, hey, we got ball joints. Let's make shells for everything. Which, when you line them up in creature mode, they look really cool. But yeah,
I remember I was so excited the first time I saw Beast Wars Neo. The packaging was so different and so new, and you had a bunch of new molds, and you had Long Neck and the penguin and the rabbit, and Big Convoy, and then you had this awesome combiner as who actually that Magnetron is a terrible toy.
The 3-piece combiners in Beast Wars, though, like, I don't know, I have a bit of respect for them still. Just because they're unique combiners. They're not like combiners where it's just leg, arm, back to the G1 style. So I think
Predicus is pretty horrible because you're never quite sure. I'm like, did I get it? Or is this part just floating here because?
I don't think they're the worst in the line, though.
All right, what's Beast Wars figure then, Rob?
Say what?
What's Beast Wars figure?
What do I think is the worst one? I am not prepared at all. I mean, if we want
I thought we'd all be prepared to say Mach Kick.
No, he's got a cool looking beast mode, and he has real hair on it, or not real, but you know what I mean.
At BotCon 2004, we had a contest who could transform Mach Kick correctly. That was the contest.
Just do it correctly.
Who could transform him correctly without instructions? That was the whole contest. And I think at one point we even gave people instructions, and nobody got it.
Really? Wow.
It's funny when I think of, that shell former era Beast Wars. I think of the one that Bedford just mentioned, and that's Break, who I think is just a crappy little toy. It's like it makes a cute penguin, and I leave it in penguin mode because the robot mode is just folded panels everywhere, and it's not a great toy. But he's a cute penguin.
And those are technically all triple changers too, because they all have a weapon mode. They become target masters.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can handle panels. It's just when they have no place to go, and it's like they have 359 degrees of options. Like, that's not how transforming's supposed to be. Like, they're supposed to, like, clip into places and stay there. And that's not what Big Convoy does. And it sounds like a lot of those toys that you mentioned, which Beast Wars was a no-go for me. So, like, I didn't live that life. And I'm glad I missed that.
It's mostly, again, Beast Wars 2nd and Neo that they suffer a lot of that. Yeah, and they just have a lot of floating panels everywhere. But again, they make great looking animals. But, that's it. They kind of fail at the rest.
All right, so let me ask this of Paul then. What do you feel about the original Leo Convoy?
I mean, I bought one from Glenn, of all people, a few years ago.
He who shall not be named.
Bought them from him, and
we'll edit that out in post, right?
Yeah, and I didn't transform. I got it because it's the Nemesis version, and I just wanted to put it on my black Convoy shelf, and it suffers from that thing where, like, if you jiggle it, like, everything will kind of clang around a little bit.
The arms come forward.
Yeah, like. I can tell I wouldn't love it. It's again from that same sort of era, but I think I like it more than this from the limited time I've had with it. And I did not. I really want to. Oh well, I really want to play with the Masterpiece Lio Convoy, but I just don't want to open one to mess with. Like I would open the Galvaleo one if there was one. So I'm kind of just biding my time. So I'd like to check out the Masterpiece one, see how that goes.
That little lion on the shoulder is 10 times worse on the Masterpiece one. Because you got to find the right way to fold it in. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, if you guys have that figure.
I had to look at the instructions. Like, I got the rest of it. I mean, I peek at them. But when I was like, this isn't making any sense. Like, oh, this loops and flips in and around of itself. It's like, okay, then it's fine.
It's a weird thing. You got to loop. You got to thread something through.
It's like tying a shoelace, but in a transformer.
Does it clip in though?
Not really. It has a spot where it's supposed to rest, but it's also part of the character design for it to be kind of floating. That way, you get all the articulation of the arm.
Yeah. I was gonna say, don't move the arm up or left or right or down because the thing will come off the shoulder.
Yeah.
Ow.
So there you go, Paul. Since you don't open your Masterpiece figures up, you can just never have to experience that.
Sounds like a win.
I think they'll come out with the repaint of it at some point. I don't know when, but I think it'll happen.
I just hope it's I really want that. I've always wanted that Galvaleo toy, which is a lucky draw, so like never gonna happen. But I would, I'd take a crazy Masterpiece repaint.
Hey, I know someone who's got one. If you want to buy it, he's got it for sale.
What? You can't tell me.
Y'all can talk after the show.
You can't tell me that live.
Yes,
you don't want to know the price, dude.
I know. I know. Worth it.
All right. Well, who wants to go next?
Oh, is Rick? We've all kind of gone, right? Or is Rob?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, Rob. What do you got?
Robert.
I mean, the one that always comes to mind is the one I use for the thumbnail, and that's Bullet Bike from G1. Like, honestly, all of those powered masters, like, it's just like 3 of them or whatever.
And you're going old school. I mean, that's G1 is kind of like still in the infancy of innocent toys.
Not by that year. Like, that wasn't the first year of Transformers. That wasn't when they were hodgepodging, Diaclone and Microchange and whatever, and, buying Skylinks and a Mega Supreme and Jetfire from whoever made those. And shoving them into
G2 toy.
It's G1.
Yeah,
it's like that G1.2 era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's late G1. Yeah, That which is why I think they can do better. They knew they could do better, and even, I mean, the other ones are crappy too in that assortment. But Bullet Bike is by far the worst. I mean, he's so derpy that I enjoy him, but I know he's crap.
You can do gimmicks. The gimmick restricts that particular gimmick restricted the transformation at that time.
Sure, it's still a crap toy. I mean, I judge things, again, with what they're trying to do, and I think that failed at being pretty much that little subline, and especially that one. I think the other two don't look as bad as Bullet Bike. He came out particularly derped. But it's like most of the other stuff where, like, I've gotten a crappy toy, especially lately, I just sell it, or most likely I don't buy it in the first place. So I don't have a lot that springs to mind, because, I mean, I've sold more toys that I actually liked than I can remember at this point, just as I keep kind of focusing down to stuff I think is better and better.
That's how you know you're old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard of these before.
My constant, joint problems and sleep problems and diet problems, those are how I really know I'm old. But
yeah. I gotta wear a special orthopedic shoe because I have plantar fasciitis in my right foot.
I wear these brown orthopedic shoes because I got a bad case of the gout.
We're going to have our new spinoff here on TFYLP. We'll talk about our orthopedics and our diets and whatnot.
A mouth guard when I sleep so I don't chew my tongue. But then I also wear a CPAP machine, so my whole face is like a thing. It's like a fishbowl thing.
It's like who's wearing their CPAP?
I have to wear a big belt and a sheath.
Oh, Rob, you got a CPAP too?
Yeah, I've had one for years.
Yeah, I got to put the mouthpiece in so I don't chew my tongue, and then the CPAP machine goes on.
I just got the CPAP. So, other than hating CPAPs, what is one of your most hated figures, Rick?
Oh, man. Well, this comes from a line that I'm very passionate about, but I did not work on this figure in any way, shape, or form. It is Transformers Prime Unicron.
Oh, the Gaia thing?
Yes. Yeah, it transforms into something, and then it also becomes a mech suit for both Optimus and Megatron, and then it transforms into a face, and then it transforms into a robot.
I didn't know it had a face mode.
Yeah, it has a. You know what? I have it right here.
It turns into a mountain, like a semblance of a mountain with a face in it.
Well, I'm gonna have to look this up again. Oh yeah.
All right.
I mean, I have it too, but I never realized it transformed into a face, or I did and I forgot it.
Yeah.
How do you still have that figure, Rob?
Because how many Unicron figures do they make?
Yeah, I have all of those.
Where it just kind of folds in half, and then it becomes a mech suit, and you can put Optimus or Megatron in there, and then it's got this little weird micron that becomes his arm, and if you lose that micron, then you're screwed. And then he also becomes a face, which is not on here.
Rick, do you know there's something else about that set that's kind of special? I believe it's the only arms micron that comes assembled.
No. You're wrong.
Well, what's the other one then?
Oh,
you don't have to really answer.
Well, you're going to make Rick get up and
sure I was correct.
Like, it's hard to even call that.
San Diego Comic-Con Beast Hunters Shockwave? Comes with the little dragon thing inside the little container.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not an arms micron.
And then all the Bakon ones.
Okay, fine. Those are also not arms micron. Those are Bakon toys. Anyways, forget I said anything.
What about that Optimus Prime that comes with the thing that becomes a sword and then the Matrix?
I think you got to put that together.
I did. Wait, did I? I know I opened it. You know what? It becomes a face.
Yes.
I don't even know that you can call that transforming into a face. It looks like he just has a back panel that looks like a face, and then you fold up all the legs and arms around it. It looks really dumb.
It's really bad. It's really bad, but it comes with a really
Rob,
cool
I would like to say that
optics.
the new RC toy is just plugging, putting the figure underneath a shell, so you fold up the legs.
I feel like Earthrise is doing that quite a bit. It seems like they've embraced the parts forming, half a car comes off and becomes a shield thing. Or maybe it's just 3 figures or something like that. But
I think that the thing is it seems like part of their gimmick was like ramps and shields and whatever. So the first line it was target masters and whatnot, and so then now they're like kind of embracing like, oh yeah, you had your weapons in the first round, now you've got your shields, and so that's going to be our excuse so that we can parts form everything.
I'm hoping against hope that we get like Greenlight and Lancer and Chromia and Night Racer and
we already have
all from that same Elita 1 RC mold where the back butt comes off and they kind of surf on it.
We already have great versions of those characters from the best mold ever made. So
the only mold for me.
Yeah, no.
I'll sell everything else off, and I'll still have that line of those fembots because they're so good, so good.
I mean, they have Peggy Hill feet. Look at that.
Hey, you know what? Like, it helps them stand up, though. So it's like
even with all this back kibble, it helps them stand up.
Yeah, you need it with the back kibble.
You also got to. I mean, you got to tilt them like that, but you got to tilt them forward.
Yeah,
I actually think they take up less space in car mode, and so I'll leave them that way because of that backpack and trying to get them to not knock other stuff over.
I just feel like that with that new RC, the Earthrise RC, is that she's going backpacking. Like, if you don't take that car part off, like, the backpack's pretty big. So, like, I actually do like it quite a bit, and I like the fact that that part comes off, just because, like, it makes a better figure in robot mode. I actually don't mind that, and I'm with you, Rick, that I would like to get that in some of the other ones, because it's so hard for them to do good female Transformers.
Yeah, no, I'm all for female Transformers, but I wasn't serious. Just to show you how design theory changes from group to group. Energon Omega Supreme. He had the little Micromaster Minicon became the head, right?
Yeah.
But if you lost the head, the little stump where the Minicon connected to would rise up, and it would become a faux head. It had little eyes and a mouth on it. So if you lost the head, you could still play with the toy, right?
Yeah.
If you lose the RC's butt, I mean, you're kind of just driving half a car at that point.
Well, but didn't like Primus? He came with his key gimmick, and if you lose that, you can't do the gimmicks on him. I mean, you can still transform him, but
you can force.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you can take a cardboard box and put it on the back of RC. It's just as good.
But to be fair, that
sleeves on it though.
that part of RC is kind of hard to lose. Like, I can see where, like, the Titans Return headmasters, like, those are actually pretty easy to lose a head. But like, shame that chunk of car.
Shame on you because you have kids. Does the part come off? Yes. Therefore, you can lose it. Because I go through my girls' toy bins and I'm like, what happened to Skeletor's shield? What happened to his clothes? What happened to the head on My Little Pony? What happened to the cap of all these markers? Every single marker's missing the cap. Where did they go? They're not even at the bottom of the bin.
They're probably down the vent. I would check there. just. But honestly, that backpack half car is so huge, you're just as likely to lose the main robot. And just have the shield sitting in there.
They should connect it so when you lose RC and Elita 1, you can just connect the butts together and form a new vehicle.
Ass to ass.
Robot centipede.
Oh, jeez. Oh, here we are.
Happy Labor Day.
Yeah, there you go.
And this is a sober show, too.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, are you able to do your kind of game you were gonna do?
Or you can just pretend that you hit random and pick a line.
No. I have it on randomize.org. All right, so we're done here. Here, I got everything. Oh, you can't see it, but
we believe you.
All right, randomize. Creo built to rule.
Ooh, everything.
Yes.
Yes is the correct answer. So I worked on Creo a little bit, and what I will say is that what was a brilliant designer who loves Legos, Richard Woodhouse. His dad, Ham Woodhouse, worked for Hasbro all his life. Richard was an amazing G.I. Joe designer. He went over to Creo. What was envisioned and what actually came out are two completely different things. Because at one point, do you know the Transformers Prime Ironhide that has the two big guns on the side? He's like the red pickup truck, and he has a G1 head. He's got the cannons. Yeah. So he did a version of that in Creo, which was unbelievable. And then he did a Cobra Hiss tank that actually had the moving treads on it, and you could actually put like figures inside of it. It was bigger than the actual Hiss tank. So what got designed and ultimately what got priced down Creo was just a complete misfire. And by the end of it, you can still go into dollar stores and find all the Creo G.I. Joe figures without the G.I. Joe branding on it. They took all the G.I. Joe and Cobra stickers off of them.
Just said, here's a man.
Here's a random, and it's called Creo, but here's a random generic Lego figure set army.
I had everything that Creo did for the first several years. I only have a few minifigures anymore and one or two combiners. It was always a disappointment though that from the beginning they didn't transform, and I understand that was difficult to achieve, but that's kind of the brand. It's like take it apart and rebuild. It's like, well, that's just Lego. And they did later on. Lego. Later they had, ones that did transform the little guys, and I got a couple of those. And they're pretty silly, but they're fun.
I think where the magic of Creo was the minifigures, and it was kind of hit and miss with that, especially with the combiners.
Yep.
But I worked on a lot of the blind bags. All right.
Real quick though, you put Built to Rule along with that.
Yeah, that's Armada.
Well, right? Built to Rule, a lot of people don't realize, but a lot of the Built to Rule parts were reused for Creo, even though Creo was a partnership with another company.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I wondered if Creo was an evolution of the same kind of toy line or completely separate.
I just kind of group these as building blocks.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up, Energon.
Energon was a pretty good line.
They had the combining gimmick, which was just clunky. The worst figure for me, I love the idea of the character, but Ironhide was just a big fat character with tree trunk legs.
He was huge.
He's got these just big giant legs
and shoulder pads. No, that's Red Alert. Yeah.
No, but Ironhide had the wing shoulders too, and his headpiece would always fall off. With the little rotating cannon thing would always fall off mine.
That toy always felt like the Play School Gobot, but with electronics. That's how the toy felt to me, just a little bit step up. If you remember the big, it was, I don't know.
The gimmick in Energon was really, it was ambitious and really cool to think you can combine any of the Autobots. You can put one can be the pants, one can be. It was like Scramble City, just for the Autobots, and unfortunately, it limited what by being a universal combination gimmick. It just it didn't really turn out like how I think they kind of envisioned it, because you gotta find something that works and roll with it, and then everything was stuck having that same waste. I did like the Decepticons though, because they didn't have to worry about that. There were some really good Decepticons.
Yeah, I think the Decepticons and the Unicron trilogy overall, especially Megatron in all 3 lines, was a definite hit for me. Especially Armada and Cybertron. Cybertron Megatron is one of my favorite toys.
I just sold that one a few months back. It lasted a long time.
Ooh. Animated.
I'm surprised you still have any of that, Rob.
Don't have much. Animated, though, I have all of.
Animated was a great line. Was there any bad figures from that? I'm trying to remember.
Even the small, like, auto changer ones, I forget what they were called. Even those were pretty good.
Activators.
Activators, yeah. Thank you.
That big ass Optimus Prime that rolled across the ground. That was
right.
Piece of shit.
What was that called? Was that
Rollout?
Yeah, Rollout Optimus Prime.
It was big though. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So they came to me and they're like, "Hey, can we legally say that this is the biggest Optimus Prime ever made?" No. What are you, stupid? That bitch.
Jaldron didn't like Jetfire and Jetstorm. I mean, the combined mode isn't amazing, but individual, I think they're both still good, and it's still a pretty unique gimmick. Like, we don't see a lot of that.
I mean, the worst part about animated is that it ended.
Yes. So if I were the brand,
for the hub,
I would relaunch animated and call it reanimated. Ooh.
And it'd be horror themed.
That's right. And it'd be all Beast Wars. Make Michael Swift happy.
That was a good line. It's hard to pick any real losers.
Yeah, that's
main line.
a good one. Even the Bakon stuff was fun. The Starship were kind of like hit and miss for me, especially Drag Strip. But I think the head on that Motormaster just came out just magnificent.
Yeah, it did.
Armada.
In the chat, Big Daddy Review says Armada Sideswipe.
I think he's off his rocker. I think that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Armada Sideswipe.
He's got a good-looking profile. I mean, they were just getting back into... It feel like they were just getting back into Transformers when Armada hit. The Unicron trilogy, I felt kind of like rebirthed the wave of Transformers. I didn't know it at the time. But it felt like they were still kind of finding their feet with some of that. But I thought Armada had a good profile. Like, they're not complex, especially compared to what we see today. They're a lot less detailed. They're also bigger, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember
the amount of
they were
plastic.
Like $10 for a deluxe figure, and it was like...
With a comic?
Right, and a mini-con.
Yep.
And Sideswipe had 2 mini-cons. Oh, no, that was Sideways. Sideways had 2 mini-cons.
Yeah.
I remember being very hyped for Armada, like, because the comics were out. I think there was rumors of a movie. I just remember where I worked at the time on my college, and I just remember where I was at work, and I was on the work computer when the Armada stuff finally like revealed on like Wizard.com or Toy World or something, and I was really disappointed. I was like borderline mad because I thought it all looked like Play School robot crap compared to like Robots in Disguise that we just got. I was like, what? You guys took a step backwards? That's not Starscream. That sucks. I'm also talking about like 15 years ago. I wasn't as mature.
I actually love that Seeker mold. I
like it too.
Yeah,
I like the design. I don't love the toy. But.
I had all of them at one point for a long, another long time. That's just because I liked it so much. I'm trying to think though, what is the worst one in there? Like
from Armada, Optimus Prime.
I don't like the Optimus Prime.
I don't like big combining one.
Optipants.
No, that
I like Bendy Prime. I actually bought Bendy
Prime is great. That is
when I got into it. I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. This looks cool. This actually does, it can like sort of dance.
So about a year ago, I All right. So sometimes if there's like a legal case, like a law firm will come to me and say, "Hey, you're an expert in toys. Can you help us out?" So I was involved in a case involving transformation. Had nothing to do with Hasbro whatsoever. And they're like, "So this is the idea of it without giving you any specifics. Show us what you got first, and then we'll give you the specifics." So I showed him the Optimus Prime from Armada, and I put new batteries in it. I sat it down, and it's the only time in my entire life where it actually worked.
Is it supposed to like auto flip? Is that what you're talking about?
It's supposed to form the pants. So it's in base mode, and then you press the button, and it's supposed to rise up and form the pants, and you can put the chest, the torso on top of it.
Good luck getting it to pick in. No. But we almost forgot the actual literal worst toy in that line. Fucking Armada Sideswipe. How did we forget about that?
That's what they just said at the beginning. Like Big
you?
Daddy said,
Where was
Armada Sideswipe.
Where were you?
Yeah, that was
Sideways or Sideswipe?
I zoned out.
This toy.
We just all went with it, Rob.
Well, I'm glad that you. I'm glad that you agree with.
Oh my
with
god.
What?
Wow,
You're like, no, that's not so bad.
Wait, who the...
I mean, I have a gray beard, but man, your mind is...
It's gone.
Wow.
No, I was thinking of... What is the one that became, in the BotCon set, they repainted it as, like, shattered glass?
That was Sideswipe. There was Sideways and Sideswipe. Sideways was the motorcycle that could switch from Autobot to Decepticon. Sideswipe was the one that was going to come out in G2, or, I'm sorry, was going to come out in Universe as G2 Drench, and then we picked it up for the BotCon set.
I'm talking about the one that's a blue car with the motorcycle minicon.
You're thinking Blur.
No, Blur is like a triangle wedge and became shattered glass Blur.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. The one that has the knife and the gun.
Yes. It's Armada Sideswipe.
Oh, crap. I'm thinking Armada Wheeljack.
Yes.
Yeah, the names are just... God damn it.
Visual aids.
Wow, yeah. As I say, I guess we could.
Well, he looks like Sideswipe. His name was Wheeljack.
So the one I like is the one that has the symbol with the slash through it.
Wheeljack.
That's
yeah. I'm used to it being shattered glass Sideswipe, and that's why. Armada Sideswipe is hot fucking garbage. Armada Wheeljack, that I think of as Sideswipe, is dope.
However...
Y'all should have reamed me when I said it looks good as a robot and has a good stance, and I was surprised people were dogging it.
I thought you were making some sort of funny statement that was going to pay off. It did, actually. It really did.
Yeah, it did. But, all right. So, actually, I'm going to defend that toy.
Which one? Which one?
Armada Sideswipe, but not Armada Sideswipe. I'm going to defend it as the Cybertron repaint remold into, I think it was Run Amok?
Yes. I only know that because I got the wiki up.
Right, okay. And then I was always waiting for Runabout, and they never brought out Runabout.
We can have the same thing happen in Earthrise, potentially.
Hope not.
Oh, it's going to happen.
I hope not either.
I really hope not.
Wow, all right.
There's lots to hate about Armada, but, you know, it has some
Shall we do another
graces.
one?
Oh, do you know the Grant story about Armada Sideswipe?
I don't want to.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. I want to hear that story, too. All right.
Does it involve his mom?
Here's a loaded one. Convention exclusives. It's wide-ranging convention exclusives. So many choices.
I got a real controversial one that'll piss some people off. And this is only because I didn't like the base mold for what it's worth. That is the original BotCon RC. I hate that figure. It does not stand for shit.
It does not stand, but it was cool to have. I remember I was at that BotCon when it came out.
Oh, I'm sure it blew people's mind at the time.
Was that 2001?
I don't know.
2002?
It was before I was back into
Bakhan RC and came out with Transmetal Tigatron.
who I think is great.
Oh,
But he's got a good base mold. I think that Black Arachnia mold is so back top heavy and dainty little feet. You know, it's not like it looks bad, but it is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It doesn't pose. You can't stand it.
So what if Kingdom RC is a Black Arachnia repaint? Will that redeem Beast Wars RC for you?
Sure.
Although that toy looks pretty weird too.
I think it looks pretty good.
Pretty weird.
It'll stand up at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So now the skin is peeling off my wasp thing. Got stung by a wasp, and now like my hand's all bloated and like my skin's peeling off. Is that a bad sign?
No one wants to talk about this.
Last little star Rick.
Man, our off topic is orthopedic shoes and Waston. So there we go. Oh.
I mean, there's been some really bad box sets, like from a conceptual standpoint. I mean, they tried to redeem it with the comic and stuff, but like,
the comics were awful. That was the problem.
The Wings of Honor set was really bad. That was really bad.
Yeah,
the add-ons were
that was
good
a lot of
that
me. I actually wrote that comic book, the Wings of Honor comic book. And
I mean, actually, the comic book was the best part. Honestly.
What's his name? Leozak? What was his name?
Yeah, it was Leozak.
Everything he said was supposed to be in Japanese. And I don't know if that ever... I mean, I wrote that comic, but it was a million years ago. I remember
comic. Those were cool. The Jets were cool.
And Landshark...
That's what
we were very limited on molds. That was the year where like we were super limited and we didn't know what to do. So Landshark, his name came about because I'm a big Chevy Chase fan. And so I love Landshark from old SNL sketches.
Yeah.
And so I actually wrote that into the comic where someone goes, Energon delivery. And he goes, oh, Energon. Landashaka.
What I didn't get about that set is the big toy is literally nobody. And then, meanwhile, the Rodimus got repainted into, what's his name? I just blanked on it.
The UK guy.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name.
Thunderclash.
And they put the thing wrong.
Yeah, it looked really bad.
Yeah,
the symbol did.
It for some reason it wasn't on top of the chest.
I mean, yeah, that set was. I thought the add-ons were good, but the set was a big mess. And then it's like, if you're gonna make somebody the big guy, why not Thunderclash be the big guy? You know, instead
we were super limited on that set. That's what I'll say. So we tried to redeem it with the box too, and have the box fold out.
The box was cool.
Yeah, that was the year that things kind of changed after that.
Yeah, I mean the limitations are always a drag, you know, when you
and then
you can't do what you want.
Yeah, we had Flack in that set too. Who was the Armada, or who was the Cybertron tank?
Yep.
With the turret on top. And then, like, they put him out in universe in almost identical colors, like, right as the Bakhan set came out.
They were different, because Flack...
They were different, but...
Well, the one that came out at retail actually is colored like Flack a little bit, whereas the one in the box was like a snow camo deco for some reason.
Yes, because... So the original box Wings of Honor set was a group of Autobots. It was supposed to be like Optimus and all these Autobots that we knew, but they were all on a special mission, and they were all like black with like camo on them. It was like
cool,
like Navy SEALs going into a mission. So that's where we started from, and then. You know who kind of twisted things, and then like limitations from Hasbro, and it just
fell apart.
Yeah, but the original concept was like Navy SEALs, like Optimus was the main guy, and they were all in black with like I think it was like red camo stuff happening.
I mean, once you get into like the FunPub era convention stuff, though, when they were doing just the convention, well, I guess you said convention, so we're not looking at the other stuff they did, but that's a lot of figures every year. And Brian himself directly says, like, well, they can't all be winners or something like that, But when you make that many toys and then you have an actual deadline, and Brian was it has to be this many figures instead of how many awesome figures can we make and we'll make those. Like, no, we got to fill the slot. We're making X amount because that'll drive X sales, and that's how his business worked.
Did they put that quote on the back of the box? They can't all be winners.
No, but that was like that. You're right. That was like we had to fill those slots because at one point we choked, and I think I talked about this before in the show. It's like, what if we made a masterpiece figure? And Takara said, yes, you can make a masterpiece, but that'll be the only figure you make. Right? So like to Brian, it just the money didn't work out. Or like you have to have stuff to offer at the show in order to make up a certain part of the revenue.
We did get a masterpiece figure from FunPub, though. The G2 Rat Bat in the Marvel set. It happened.
Yay.
It technically happened.
I mean,
That's one of the things I liked that FunPub did is stuff that was Japanese only, because that never got a U.S. release. They would try to get that mold and use it here. Or like a lot of the Arms Microns got released from FunPub in some fashion. They did the breakdown mold. They released it here. It didn't get released by you in the U.S.
I tried so hard to get that mold put out.
I remember at a panel, Aaron Archer was just like, I don't know what they were thinking with the parts count on that guy. There's no way we can do that figure. Or so it was something like that. It was very final when he was, talking to us, obviously.
Well, by the time that figure came out, we were already on Beast Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had already moved on from that figure.
Another one I wanted to mention was that I was disappointed with for whatever reason. Well, I know why. The Machine Wars set, because my expectations were way up here with like, oh my God, all these cool characters they're going to do, and they're going to look awesome. And it was like, there's only 2 Machine Wars guys in this box set. And Starscream's the attendee exclusive, and you're not going this year. So I was pretty upset, personally.
Yeah, that was who's.
It's like saying, hey, this is, you like purple? Here's a bunch of blue stuff.
I did the Seeker. I came up with the Seekers that year, and
the Rainmakers.
They used that weird ass. Wait, Rainmakers? Didn't we get Thundercracker and Skywarp?
No,
not with Machine Wars. It was like Sunstorm and a purple guy.
Did you get the Seekers, the 3-pack of Seekers too that year?
Oh yeah. No. It's hard to put. Well, it makes no sense for that to be Machine Wars. So why would I put that together?
And Machine Wars and like G1 Troop Builder, all mixed together, and then like Depth Charge was in there in the comic somehow.
And why didn't they mark it as Transformers Potpourri? The smorgasbord.
That was what
plethora.
Like, I didn't care about that, and I really wouldn't have overly cared about a bunch of Machine Wars homages, but they definitely could have been done better than what we got them. The Beast Machines figures are the only ones I ended up keeping.
I think those are the worst ones.
The box is really cool too. I love it.
Yeah, the box is nice.
The KV throwback was really funny.
Yeah.
Are they still sitting on stock of that Machine Wars set too? Because I felt like even when they were clearancing all their stuff out, that was one of the few sets that like it lasted till the very end.
I think that was the 05 set.
No.
What killed me was like the fallout from the Machine Wars set is whenever people would say, "Oh, we need to do more Machine Wars homages," this and that, and the line was, "Well, we did a set and it didn't do well." It's like, you didn't really do a Machine Wars set. You called it Machine Wars, which is what Paul was saying.
No Soundwave.
Yeah.
Right. But they set it up.
Big honking Skyquake.
Yeah, they set it up so that they can do some more repaints, like with the prow and the hubcap hoist, which they never did.
I would buy a hoist today, like if they did them in that red colors or whatever, where he's like hot green and blue or whatever. That would be awesome. But I like garish colors.
I mean, we're being negative because that's the point of the show.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
okay, so just if anyone's like, "Geez,
All
these
right.
guys are ass."
What about,
I know,
what about
right?
you, Lucas?
Yeah,
Did you have a
I'm
worse
looking
adventure
forward
one?
to the backlash. But at least, today I know Tauntaun Reviews got this whole negative backlash. So at least we won't be as negative as him. We haven't done as much cursing as he did.
All right. Should we end it on Gobots?
Never end. Ooh.
Gobots, they were all great. What are you talking about?
Not the Gobots from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
The Gobots that had their own TV show, the Transformers Gobots. There was the G2 character Gobots. Then there was the Gobots, which were the actual G2 mini spies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a line of kids' toys called Transformers Gobots, which had like Cheetor, Optimus Primal. It had like Red Car.
It was a jet, right?
And there was a jet called, I think it was Silverbolt. And then there was Silverbolt and Chrome. And then there was Construction Dude. And then there was a dinosaur who was supposed to be Dinobot. But he was I think he was called Raktor.
I have no input because I am completely unfamiliar with these.
Well, I think I just pretty much named the entire line. So
Yeah, I'm familiar. It was hardly brand. It was like it was Gobots before it was a Transformer thing. They were trying to kind of use they just had acquired the Gobots license, right? And they were just
no, they had it. They've had it since G2.
Okay.
So this was
they were like play school toys or something.
Yeah, this was like Armada. Yeah, this was Armada period.
Yeah.
These came out. And there's a whole bunch of them, and they're really tough to find now. And there's 2 packs of them, which are like impossible to find, which I'm still missing.
No one wants these toys.
Rick
That's where they're hard to find. I have almost a complete set carded. I'm missing the 2 packs, and I don't have anything loose. But eventually they ended up putting like dumbed down version of the Autobot symbol on them, and they were called Transformers. And there's a million variants on them.
Really, I remember seeing the jet, and I was like, "Oh, that's okay."
And
But which
I'm pretty
one's the
sure the
worst?
jet has? Man, I think. Wow. The Cheetor kind of transforms. It just kind of lays down. The cars transform have the most transformation. But I'm pretty sure Silverbolt had the Millennium Falcon sound chip in it.
Really?
But see, this is why, Rob, why, Rick and Nick and all those guys collect all this garbage now is because they're trying to complete whatever line from 20 years ago or something, and they can't come across it because it was garbage then.
I gotta get one.
Oh, no, you don't. We know what they are.
They're really
remember
big. They're like, because they're
I mean,
for kids, for like infants.
I mean, that's why I was referencing them earlier when we were talking about Energon Ironhide. That's what that toy kind of reminded me of, just kind of big, chunky, simple. I mean, it was obviously a little more than that, but...
All right. So it wasn't even called Optimus Primal. It was just called Gorilla Bot.
Oh,
Let's
jeez.
see it.
Look at those colors.
Oh,
This one
okay.
doesn't even say GoBots on it. They just gave up at that point.
Look at that logo. It looks like a knockoff.
It's got a little bit more transformation than Cyberverse stuff.
So it's Optimus Primal with Megatron.
And the plastic's
colors.
probably better.
Right. It's Optimus Primal in Megatron colors.
I mean, I was
And
going to
then-
say, to be fair, it probably wouldn't break on me like some of the other figures I brought
look
up
at
at
that.
the beginning.
Yep.
It says Transformers to the rescue.
Big adventures for little kids.
So his name's not even Silverbolt. I think the Chrome one is Silverbolt. This one's called Aerobot. And then they had another one called Aerobot 2.
You got to get the sequel.
Blowing my mind.
But which one's the worst?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, it's not. Let's talk about this crappy, terrible line that no one gives a crap about.
The whole line is bad.
Yeah. So it's
I think there was like Gorilla Bot 2 and Prowl 2.
Yeah.
It's the sequel to the figure that you didn't buy.
So do you have a final line that we actually know about?
All right, let's.
I was going to bring up a figure right here. Like this is.
Yeah, that figure sucks.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. So this Power of the Prime Starscream is like one of the figures that makes me want to not be a completionist of Generations because I hate the figure so much. Like it's just such a crappy figure. Like I hate these stickers. They're so bad.
Those stickers were such a misfire for that entire line. Ruined so many good toys.
Yeah. No,
so let me tell you how bad that figure sucks. I never got a second one to open.
You're not missing anything.
I just have them in the package, and the same goes for the big ones too. The Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp. I just have the big giant ones in the package. I never got loose ones because I'm like, what am I gonna do with a giant Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp? Where do these go on my shelf? Where do these live? And I just have them boxed.
Put them in the dumpster.
Yeah, I mean that toy has a lot going against it. I kind of like it because it's different as far as Starscream goes. Like I like the puffy muscle man Starscream, but I hate the guns. I hate how the guns like have such long handles on them. You're right, the stickers totally suck. It's
Dreamwave. It's Dreamwave Starscream.
Like, the
legs are so hollow.
The model itself is fine. I just don't think it is executed as well. I think it doesn't fit together well. Like I don't know. I know some people like the combiner torso part of it. I'm not a big fan of that either. But this is probably one of my least favorite Generations figures overall.
I have the Elita 1 remold loose. But there was just some really Combiner Wars. I don't have the Starscream loose. I didn't get Scattershot loose until he came in the gift set. I got him and I'm like, Dad, that looks awful. I'm gonna make a choice for the first time in my life not to get a second one of these. And Cyclonus. And I love troop building Cyclonus and my sweeps. But I looked at Cyclonus and I'm like,
I'm good.
Hate this. I didn't hate the Cyclonus.
He doesn't go in my troop builders.
I don't like him much either.
But yeah, no, I mean it's definitely not great, but I didn't hate it like this one. So
yeah, I think I'm just gonna hang out here and wait till the next Astro Train comes out. It's been about a year, so should be another one coming down the road.
Is there going to be another Astro Train in Kingdom? That would be
right.
Funny.
It's going to be Titan's Astro Train. It's actually what they're going to repaint the Ark into.
They're just going to re-release Siege Astro Train into Kingdom as well. It'll be like the first figure in all legs of the trilogy.
Right. That is correct. Yeah. Boy, an Ark.
It's hard to hate on everything. This is like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the biggest thing I hate about Transformers, without a doubt, and I think this only applies to a few individuals, is the amount of crap that exists in the world of Transformers. I'm talking I've got pencil sets and lunch boxes and shirts and DVDs and...
Hey, Rick, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
It's just a lot of stuff. And my wife keeps saying, what's going to happen when you die? I'll be dead. I don't know. I'll be dead. She's like, I really hope you either sell it or the girls are into this because I don't want any part of it.
So we haven't done a show in a while, but that might not be a bad topic to revisit because the one thing they'll say is like if you haven't well, no, but I'm saying if you haven't prepared for that kind of stuff, like my grandpa, I know when they had his estate sale, like all of his stuff, they just would put it on pallets and be like, this pallet, whatever stuff is on there, like, what's your bid kind of thing. And I mean, you would hate to have that kind of thing happen with your collection. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's if you don't have it lined up, that's what's going to happen. It'll be sold at an auction, and it'll just be gone. Your family won't get anywhere near what you put into it. I mean, a lot of it you won't get out of it anyways, because so much of that no one cares about.
Am I going to get
selling it in bulk?
Yeah, like my Cyber Slammers from the first movie. Who's going to buy that? That I probably can't even get the money I paid for those figures.
Yeah. I mean, Nick might, but, he'll be really old, too. So, Nick and Peter will get into a bidding war over parts of your collection.
What about me?
I need the Twitcher Flask from Transformers Real Gear Robots 2007. I need it's the green version. It only came out in Mexico.
Well, if we do another what to do when you die episode.
Yeah, and that episode is just a placeholder for when one of us finally dies, and we have like a week-long memoriam.
Yeah, what happens when Rick dies episode? Because I'm sure within an hour of my death, there's going to be like vultures flying around my house, right? Yeah. Like it'll be like all the toy dealers that just flying around my house, right? Trying to come in, swoop low, and then they fly back up.
But they're only going to want like 20% of your collection. The rest of it, no one gives a fuck about.
Right. Exactly. Oh, this Goodbye Convoy set, yeah. They made a lot of these. You can't even get $50 for this.
Dime a dozen.
It's got the poster in it. Oh, that makes it even worth less.
I imagine that like 3 hours after your death, there will suspiciously be the world's hugest bonfire, like 500 feet from your house, and it'll be putting off noxious fumes.
Right. You'll be able to see it on like Google Earth.
Yeah. NASA will be like, we're seeing something here from the space station.
We're getting a heat bloom from Massachusetts. Yeah. I hope my girls are into it. I mean, I've often thought, what am I going to do if I sell it? I think I'd have a lot of fun selling it, but then part of my identity is gone. Like
it's just stuff.
What do I have at that point? My kids.
Lame. Lame.
Outside of your family.
What do I do with my time, though? Like, learn piano? I don't know.
Yeah, spend time with your kids. I mean, God.
That is the worst.
Yeah. Hey, want to put that Switch down and come spend some time with your old man? No? Okay. All right. I guess I'll go watch The Office again.
Maybe mix it up, put in some Community.
TFYLP Microcasters on the tftalk.net Facebook page. We are going to be reviewing Snapdragon from the Earthrise line. So come check that out. That's at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. And then we'll have it up later in the week.
And if there's time, we'll get into Supreme Class Beast Machines Cheetor. Time permitting.
Maybe. Or Anna Hat probably will show off some more of her knockoff Chinese figures.
Real quick, has anyone ever seen these before? These are Hershey Kisses Transformers.
Aren't those new? I swear I saw something in the news about that.
I found these in like the girls aisle at Walmart. Like Casey was shopping for some Barbie clothes, and I'm like, what? And these were like on the side of an end cap, and there's 5 different figures, and they come blind packed.
How much are they?
They're 2 bits each. $2 each, and there's 5 different figures, and they come with 4 Hershey's Kisses.
Have you opened them up yet?
I've opened 2 of them. I got Megs and Bumblebee.
Are they garbage?
They're hot garbage.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as they're
for
garbage.
$2 a pop, I'm like, you know what?
And they come with candy.
Hot enough to melt the chocolate inside?
No. The chocolate was solid.
Were they at least tasty?
I gave it to my kids. I'm like, eat this. No, I'm like, it's not poison this time.
How much is that going to sadden Christian that they cut off the Gobots line at Walmart and like no longer have shelf space that they can put those Hershey Kisses Transformer things?
Decisions were made.
So is Gobots officially dead? Did they?
No, they're not dead, but like they're no longer in Walmart. Like they're still at Target. At least mine are.
Yeah, but they haven't. There's nothing past Series 5, right?
There's supposed to be a Series 6, and Series 5 singles have never shown up in the United States.
It kind of feels like Creo or something like that, or Robot Heroes, where the last few waves don't come out here.
They'll be at the discount stores. Man, I saw all those RID Robot Heroes, and I'm like, I still don't want to pay those prices. I'll wait for them to go on clearance at the clearance shop, and now they're like $100 a pop.
Those last few waves are expensive, and that laser beak's so good. But oh well, c'est la vie.
Well, are you going to show us that Hershey Kiss robot?
I got to get up, and it's like a whole thing.
You just had one in your hands.
Well, I mean, Lucas was in the middle of ending the show, so we should probably finish that.
Paul, nobody likes you.
What is this? The shortest show ever?
I was gonna say, I know the last couple episodes we went like a solid 2 hours. We're only at like an hour and 17 minutes here, so I realize it feels like a short show.
Well, it's a short work week, so I guess it makes sense.
Whoa, Zaldron said that he saw Series 5 singles at his Target on Saturday for Gobots. Really?
Well,
Tell him
also
to buy.
told me
You should buy them all, mail them to me, and then I'll be on Ouch My Wallet with Christian, and I'll be like,
if I remember
Christian,
correctly,
what are you about to pay for these?
I think Christian actually finally is resorting to someone in the UK. So that, like, that's what's going to happen. They'll show up as soon as you buy them at a markup from another country. So
I don't know. I think Zaldron is also the one that said he found Overload at a Target like a month before it actually came out.
Yeah, isn't he the guy who said he found the G1 Bruticus box set at on clearance somewhere?
Maybe. I think he said he found a Goodbye Convoy set at his local Kmart like last week too.
Yeah.
So
they had a
mileage may vary.
One of the weirdest things I ever found was somebody bought off Walmart.com a reissued G1 Megatron, and I found the reissued G1 Megatron on the shelf at Walmart. That was like $150 or $170.
I wonder if that was like in the infancy of their seller platform and someone returned it. And they're like, what do we do with this?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. This doesn't seem right.
We don't have a system in place. Throw it on the shelf.
It was in the electronics department.
Oh, well, that's where crazy toys are. Yeah. All the
This
NECA
is a
stuff.
gun. Let's put it with the video games.
Let's put this gun here.
Let's put this with Call of Duty.
So, and if you want to continue the conversation, join us on our Discord. The link should be on the YouTube page and also on our Twitter, pinned on the Twitter page as well. So, and if you like what we do and want to hear more about our wonderful rants and orthotics and whatnot, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/TFYLP. Tiers from $1 and up. So, all right, any final thoughts before we wrap here?
Ass to ass.
I'm so glad I'm not the one who said that. Should we do the old man show?
No.
Like an after-hour special? Like, oh, my feet hurt.
We can't do one without Don, anyways. He's the oldest of old.
Yeah, he's is he in his 50s yet?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna be 42 next year.
My final thought. My final thought is that there's a lot of Transformers that suck, but none of the Kiss Player Transformers suck. So too bad.
They're good toys.
It's just the figures that came with them.
The little minis.
It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural.
Pick your poison.
There you go.
I think the worst thing Transformers has ever done are those goddamn shampoo bottle dolls. Those are probably the worst.
That was great. Let me tell you, like I enjoyed those, but they didn't break at least, so you got that. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks to Zaldron in the chat, Bedford. Trying to think.
Bedford.
Did I miss anyone? So,
Esquire Prime.
Yeah. So thank you everyone.
Nobody calls their kid Bedford anymore.
I might.
Anyway, all right. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Yeah! Yeah! Oh, look at these